I've kind of always wanted to go back to school. I did attempt to years back in about 2019, but it didn't work out. I was dealing with a brain injury, and then my ability to continue to work in construction and do heavy lifting, typically being a grunt, I couldn't do that anymore because of heavy lifting. And I also had found out that I have a heart defect. So with those two things combined, it was like, if you can't pick it up 16 times, don't touch it. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to pivot a little bit. So I was talking to my parents and my wife, and she was like, you should go back to school. And I'm actually in recovery myself right now. So I was like, what better way to spend my time than to pay it forward? So I had been scrolling on, I think social media might have been Instagram or Facebook, and I saw a post about addiction studies, and it was like, if you're curious about going back to school, and I was like, I am curious. So I clicked the link and I ended up here. It was actually an assault. So I was hit, and when I was unconscious, they hit me a few more times. And I guess that's got some pretty severe consequences when you're already unconscious, taking more injuries to the head. So just kind of slowly trying to get back on track and just dealing with, struggles focusing, articulating myself. Sometimes I have issues doing that. I could be mid-sentence and then completely forget what it is I'm even talking about. But again, school's helping with that. It's putting me in a position where I need to, stay focused, and me engaging as much as I can in class also really is beneficial, I'm finding. So, not being as successful as I want to be by 36, which is another thing that drove me back to coming to school, is it's never too late to be educated. Like they say, there's no growth in comfort, and I find, pushing yourself is the best way to grow. So I like being in somewhat uncomfortable situations. I just like having an impact. I just like being involved and engaging. You know what I mean? If you're not living if you're not engaging. I wasn't expecting to learn so much about the Indigenous culture so quickly. I wouldn't necessarily call it a challenge, but definitely a surprise. Just like learning so in depth about the position that we're in, maybe as a country, not even just a province, but when it comes to the respect and the awareness people have about the Indigenous people and their culture, that's been an exciting thing to learn. Moving forward in addiction studies, learning about the Indigenous experience, it's made me realize that I have biases as well that I didn't know that I had before. So I think it'll allow me to conquer those and kind of see past the biases and the stigmas, and to be able to help people fully. Shout out to Brian Flack, the one instructor for addiction studies. He's been really good, and he's been super vocal about how important it is to kind of just be open to listening. You don't have to have the right advice, but sometimes all you need to find is an open ear, and he's been great for that. I've taken the initiative to join a couple of groups in school, the ROC, the Recovery on Campus, which has been fantastic. I didn't know that the school would have something like that, so that's tremendous. There's also the Neurodivergent group that gets together, and they all kind of talk and stuff. But I think that the teachers do their best to create a safe place for the students, or at least like a welcoming atmosphere where if you did have some concerns or something like that, there's no hesitation that you can come to them for sure. A sense of purpose, you know what I mean? And I don't think I had that before. I think I just felt like no matter how hard I tried, it was 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And now I feel like it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, which is totally okay. For me, I think it's just teaching the youth that your mistakes don't define you, and that if somebody like me who has struggled with addiction since probably the age of 13 or 14, I might be a late bloomer, but it's never too late to come around. It's never too late to want to make better decisions. It's never too late to put on a different jacket. I'd love to be in a position where I can guide, and kind of engage with kids and just make them feel comfortable in their own skin, and kind of reinforce the fact that there's healthy outlets in life.